out easy. Oh. Hey guys, Bob is back in the shop with us.
Hey guys.
And Tony's over there. Today Tony's working on everything up front with plumbing. Me and Bob have been tackling the back. Hey, what's up?
Hey, just making a few hoses here for the project car. I've got show you guys here. So this is part of the turbo to charger cooler pipe. This one's gonna sit in here like this, and then we just need to join it here. So we'll need to do a 90-degree elbow that we don't have.
And which is your turbo opening there?
This one's the out, like the pressurized side of the turbo, and this is the suction. So this is gonna come from here to here. This is a blow-off valve or a bypass valve. I'm not sure what we're gonna do here yet. Either route it back to the intake if we have to, or just leave it open with a filter or something. What else? I've got this line cut from another one that's happened to fit quite well.
That's for radiator?
This is for the radiator, yeah. There'll be another rad one down there because this intercooler comes from a V6. So that one I might have to block off or run it to something else. This will go to the degas bottle or the bottle, like. And then on this side we have to finish making this side of the charger cooler to the throttle body. So there'll be a small pipe we're welding on here, and then we'll have an elbow, rubber elbow in there. And then down below here, don't know if you can see it from there, there's the
somewhere down there.
Oh, yeah, down right there is the other pipe, and that will connect down to that pipe on the engine. So I got a little bit of work to do, and then I got to make the mounts on top of the rad to rubber mount it. And the rad's getting there at least. We'll have to figure out what to do with the fans afterwards yet, if we can make the factory stuff work, or if we have to control that ourselves through relays or something. But yeah, should we show them what you're working on, Devin?
Sure. See how long that battery lasts there? So I've got the axle out of the car right now. That's the first step I did. I could have cut everything out, but I needed to save bolts for, apparently there's 2 Celicas in this shop and one needs bolts. So that's out now. The next step is going to be removing the floor. We're going to probably be taking the inner wheel tubs and trying to save as much as possible, but they'll be coming out and being shifted outwards to work with the Mustang suspension. And if you want to come look in the trunk here, I think because frame rails are rusted through, most of this is going to we're going to rip it out of here, kind of along this axis here, this line here, and then we'll just use what frame rails we have to mate to the Mustang ones. We'll build some new rails. We'll do kind of the cuts along here, remove this rear firewall, build a new one, and then there's the middle seat brace. We'll be cutting that out as well. That came out easy.
Oh, there you go.
I like that, dropped in one piece.
So to make the Toyota guys even happier, we're getting rid of more of the Toyota.
We might keep the transmission hump, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
And the wheel tubs.
Yeah. But yeah.
This is the portion of floor that I've cut out of the Celica. Probably end up using part of the wheel tubs to fill some gaps. And it's pretty rusty. Some of these rails down here are actually rusted through. So these are the pieces out of the floor where the rear control arms mounted to, the lowers. And as you can see, they're rusted. So another reason why this car is getting a new floor. Alright, I got the floor pan of the Mustang, and it's upside down, but that's the front facing the front of the car. And I'm going, as I talked about in my last video, I measured 50 inches centered on each side, so this much has to get cut out of the Mustang frame rail, and that should drop in a nice snug fit between our inner rocker panels. And so we're going to do that to both sides, a little bit better perspective here. Slice cut and slice cut, and those holes we know are centered because they center our rear subframe. This is looking at the front. I've now made the cuts. So this will be welded to the inner rocker, most likely, if it works the way I'm hoping. And then we got these other layers to deal with later. So what we're doing now, we've got the Mustang floor set on top of the rear suspension. That's about how much overlap we've had, like I talked about in the last video, for our wheel arch that will need to be extended. It's not bad. So I've just got a new iPhone, or a new old one, whatever. So it may look like a lot of as they would say, stance nation required, but I didn't catch that. Give me one of those. Yeah. But which it will be, but it'll be an awesome stance nation. We're gonna do a nice stretch. It'll look gorgeous. The wheel tubs that I'm gonna use is just to fill these gaps. Hopefully I can reuse those nicely. That is the plan.
Center of that bolt.
Hang on,
Looks
now
like
go.
center of that bolt is about 9 1/4. Center of this bolt, you'll probably be able to see it better. I'm just checking on the straightness of the arm.
Yeah, you're straight.
It's also 9 1/4, hey?
To the center of the bolt, hey?
Yeah. So these two bolts need to be centered. Give us our clearance, and then let's go.
So both that bolt and that bolt are both 9 1/4 to center and 9
So
to
where
the
we
bottom.
should be level all the way across the bottom.
Okay.
From this metal mount,
Oh, the spring perch
yeah,
on the top, on the frame rail.
to the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom is angled, so it's hard to tell, but
The
it's,
bottom of the control arm.
let's say the lowest point is 9 1/4.
9. Oh, everything's 9 1/4.
Yeah, to the lowest point of the spring perch.
Okay, looking at the Miata wheel here, and the measurement to the center of the wheel is 10 3/4, and the rocker panel pinch welds are 5.5 inches, and to the bottom of the rocker is 6.5 inches. So with the Mustang wheel here, I'm at the ground. We want to be at roughly 12.5 inches to hub center. Alright guys, I've done a little bit of penciling and some figuring out. So the first thing, we went to a local Ford dealership, and this is looking at the back of the car. Here's control arms, and there's 2 bolts, one on each end, and they're 9 1/4 each off of the ground in inches, and so that makes them parallel to the ground. So on our car, to figure out that I need 8.5 inches on each control arm bolt, what we did was we measured from hub center to the ground on the tire we have is 12.5 inches, and from hub center to the ground on the 2017 EcoBoost Mustang was 13 1/4. So the difference is 0.75 inch taller tire on the 2017. So with the tire and wheel combo we have, that gets our control arms 8.5 inches off the ground as opposed to the 9 1/4. And so then if we're looking at the control arms here from the back, here's the bolts again, here's our frame rail, and we have a little dip where the spring sits on. So from the bottom of the spring to the lowest point on the control arm where the spring sits in is 9 1/4 inches. That'll change a little bit because our car is going to be lighter. The next thing we did was we measured inside wheel tub clearance, and so from the top of the tire to the inside wheel tub is 5 inches, not the wheel arch lip but the wheel tub. So when I go to the Celica, I'm going to cut about 5 inches out of here on the body to clear the tire, and then we'll do the stretch from that point. The other thing I did was measure the wheel and tire on the Mazda Miata, and as you saw, from hub center to the ground was 10 3/4, and this is 12.5 on our EcoBoost Mustang with the Mustang wheel and tire that we have chosen. So that makes it 1.75 inches difference from the in height that this will give on the Miata ride height that we've set. So the Miata pinch weld lowest point to the ground is 5.5 inches, and when we add the 1.75 for our height, then we get 7.25 inches lowest point on the pinch weld, and the lowest point on the rocker should potentially be here on the Mazda 6.5, and on our Celica it should end up around 8.25 once we build rockers. So it's a bit of an earful there, but that's what we're doing. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Dad's Toy Garage, working on Project Snake Charmer. next episode we will be getting that rear suspension mounted and welded into place.